welcome back to another What's for Dinner video. Today I'm sharing with you 5 really simple and easy recipes that you can make for your family and friends. I am all about simple and easy because as a mom I am so busy and I'm sure you are too. And I'm super excited about today's What's for Dinner video because it's actually a collab with Julia Pacheco. She is the sweetest mama. She makes What's for Dinner videos every single Sunday. So go check out her channel when you're done with this one. I will have her linked down below. And if you are coming over from Julia's channel, I just want to say welcome. My name is Caitlin. I make lots of cleaning, cooking, and organizational type of content on my channel. I would love to have you. So hit that little subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and we're gonna get cooking. So to start off, I'm going to be making my favorite meatballs. It's porcupine meatballs with a mushroom gravy. So you're just gonna need a pound of lean ground beef. I'm just kind of chopping that up. And then I'm going to be adding in 1 egg. You'll also be adding in half a cup of rice and 3 tablespoons of flour. For seasonings, I am just doing a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. And then you'll also need some Ritz crackers. I am just using the generic brand whole wheat ones. Smash those up with something heavy and throw them into your bowl as well. The last thing that you need for this is just a 1/4 cup of milk, and then you're going to mix it all together. I know most people just use their hands for this, but I hate touching ground beef. I just it has a horrible texture, so I avoid touching it as much as I can. I am just spraying my baking dish with a little bit of nonstick spray, and then I'm actually taking a cookie dough scooper. This works so good. If you have never tried it, I would highly recommend. You don't have to touch the meat, and it keeps them all the same size, so I really like doing it that way. And then after they're all scooped out, I actually go in and kind of roll the balls out to make sure they're smooth and that they're all going to stick together. And now for the gravy that is going on top of the meatballs, I'm just taking a cup of milk and mixing in a can of cream of mushroom. You could definitely add some seasonings to this if you want. It really doesn't need it. Another thing that I've added before is just a little bit of beef bouillon, and that tastes really good as well, but I was just keeping it super simple on this day. And then you're just going to pour your gravy right over your meatballs. They don't have to be fully submerged or anything, but if there's any spots that are open on top, I will just flip them over so there's gravy on that side as well. Cover it with just a little bit of aluminum foil and then pop that into a 350-degree oven for about 1 hour. I almost always serve these meatballs with mashed potatoes, but my kids are being crazy and I did not want to peel potatoes and deal with boiling them and mashing them, so I took the easy way out and I just did some egg noodles. And then for a really quick and easy side, I just did some baby carrots in my little Pampered Chef steamer that goes in the microwave. I think I steamed them for about 5 minutes if I remember correctly, and then I just put a little bit of butter on top with some pepper, salt, and a little bit of garlic powder. Next up, I am going to be making an Italian pasta salad. This is filled with so many veggies, and this is my husband's favorite. So I am just taking 2 boxes of rotini noodles and starting to boil those. You can definitely have this recipe and just use 1 box if you would like, but I like to make a big batch to have on hand in the fridge. For veggies, I am using 2 peppers. I did an orange pepper and a yellow pepper, and then I'm also going to be cutting up a cucumber. I do like to chop my veggies pretty small just because I want them really nice and bite-sized to blend into the pasta salad. For the cucumbers, I am only using 1 today, but I actually would normally add about a cucumber and a half. You can do what you like, but I would recommend taking the seeds out from the center, so I just kind of cut them out. They can make your salad almost waterlogged if you leave them in and it's sitting in your fridge for a couple of days, and then just chop those up like the rest of the veggies and set them aside. And for the cheese in this pasta salad, I am just using a block of cheese. You could use shredded, but we really prefer the block. Plus, if you store it in your fridge for a couple of days, shredded cheese can kind of get like a gummy texture to it. I am using mozzarella, but my husband's personal favorite would be Colby Jack, but I'm not a big fan of Colby Jack, so I will usually use mozzarella. And then I'm also chopping up some pepperoni. I used a full package for this one just because I did use 2 boxes of noodles. You could also buy like the stick of pepperoni and then chop it up that way, but this is just what I had on hand. Drain off all of your noodles and then rinse them with cold water so they don't get all stuck together. And then you're just going to be adding them into a bowl. You see me adding everything into 2 different bowls, and that's just because I did not have a big enough bowl to fit everything. But make it easy on yourself and just do it in 1 bowl if you can, and then you're just going to dump all the rest of your ingredients in. For this dressing, it could not be any more simple. I am just using the Italian zesty dressing from the store, and then I'm also adding a little bit of salt and pepper. I don't have exact measurements, you just gotta do it to taste and see what you like. And that is it for this simple pasta salad. Like I said, this is my husband's favorite, and it keeps really well in the fridge for a couple of days if you want to use it for lunches. Next up, I am making a crock pot turkey chili. This is so good and so easy. You're gonna need about 30 ounces of petite diced tomatoes, a can of tomato sauce, some chili beans, black beans, minced garlic, cocoa powder, some sugar, and then for seasonings, you're going to need some garlic powder, chili powder, salt and pepper, and some ground turkey, as well as an onion. As with any crock pot recipe, you're going to want to make sure and spray your crock pot really well, and then just chop up a full white or a yellow onion. I have this ground turkey all cooked and ready to go in my freezer. You could also use ground beef, but you want to make sure it's browned first. And then you'll be dumping in a can of black beans that are drained, as well as a can of chili beans. You don't have to drain those ones. And then dump in your canned tomatoes. I always like to use the petite diced for this, and I think I had about 30 to 35 ounces. You're also going to need a can of tomato sauce. To make it easy on myself, I am just using the pre-minced garlic that you can buy in the store. I do a couple big scoops of that, and then you're also going to need some cocoa powder. I'm not really sure what this does, but it tastes super good. I use about a teaspoon of that, and then to cut the acidity from the tomatoes, I do a little bit of sugar, probably a teaspoon, and then some garlic powder and whatever seasonings you like. I will usually do a little bit of salt and pepper. For a really mild chili, I do about 3/4 of a tablespoon of chili powder. You can definitely add more if you prefer it that way. Once you have it all mixed together, you're just going to throw it on high and cook it for about 5 hours. And then I always serve ours with just a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese, and it's all done and ready for you to enjoy. This next recipe is cheesy chicken and rice. It was super easy to make, and I just kind of made it up on a whim with ingredients that we had. So I am just chopping up a whole yellow onion and setting that aside. And then we also had celery to use up, so I used about 3 stalks of celery and diced that up into fine little pieces. Start off by spraying your crock pot with a spray and then put in about 3 chicken breasts. Mine were on the bigger side. And then you'll dump in your onions and your celery right along with a large can of cream of chicken. I don't remember the ounces on this. It's just the large can that you get at the grocery store. You also need 1 can of chicken broth, and then I seasoned it with a little bit of garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Mix that all together and then cook it on high for about 5 hours until your chicken is cooked all the way through. About an hour before dinner, I am getting my brown rice ready to go. I always make mine in the oven. I will have the recipe linked down below, but I'm measuring out 3 cups of brown rice into a casserole dish, and then I'm going to top it with 4 teaspoons of butter right on top. To help the rice get cooking, you're going to boil your water first. It is 4 2/3 cup of water, and then you're going to dump in 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix that together and pour it right over your rice. Cover your pan up with a double layer of aluminum foil just to keep all of that moisture in, and then you're going to throw it in the oven at 375 degrees for 1 hour. When you pull the rice out of the oven, be careful because there's a ton of steam. Like you can see, I almost burnt myself. And then just go ahead and fluff up the rice, and then you're going to cover it back up for another 10 minutes to make sure it's fully finished cooking. I used to hate cooking brown rice, and this is seriously foolproof, and it comes out perfectly fluffy every single time. You've got to try it. I always cook my chicken in the crock pot. I just find it so much easier to shred this way, so I am pulling out all of the chicken breast and then shredding those up and throwing them back in the crock pot. And then add in all of your cooked brown rice. You could definitely use white rice for this too, but I personally prefer brown rice, and it's obviously a lot healthier for you. For a little extra flavor, I added in a little bit more garlic powder. And then you can top it with your favorite cheese. I am just using a Fiesta blend because that is our favorite. I am all about keeping sides super simple, so I am just throwing these cut green beans into the microwave and steaming them, and then I am just going to top them with a little bit of butter. And I also like to use these Italian seasoning packets. They are super easy to use. I just do about half a packet of that, mix it up, and it's a really yummy side. Easton really likes when I serve green beans this way. This Hambone veggie soup is yet another really easy crock pot meal. So I am just starting off by using up some veggies that we had on hand. I am taking 4 carrots. Mine were all on the smaller side. I would say use about 3 large carrots. And then I'm also going to be chopping up 3 stalks of celery. This recipe called for 1 large onion, but I actually did about an onion and a half just because I had an extra half in my fridge that I needed to use up, and then the other onion was on the smaller side, so I would say just use about 1 large onion for this. Start off by spraying your crock pot with a little bit of olive oil or whatever spray you like to use, and then you're going to be adding in your ham bone. You want to make sure it's a pretty meaty ham bone that has lots of ham on it. I had one left over from Christmas. And then dump in all of your chopped vegetables, and I also used about half a bag of frozen green beans for this. And then you're going to add in 8 cups of chicken broth. You'll also need to cut up some potatoes. I used russets and mine were on the larger side. I used 3, but I would actually say to use 4. And I think the recipe only called for 2, but I guess we tend to like a lot of potatoes in our soup. You'll also need a can of diced tomatoes as well as a couple big scoops of minced garlic. For seasonings, I did a heaping teaspoon of oregano, and I also did a heaping teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Now, I don't have footage from when I actually served this just because my husband was the one to actually serve it to the kids, but you're going to break the ham off from the ham bone and mix it all up and then go ahead and serve it, and it takes about 5 hours on high in a crock pot. Well, that wraps up today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it and got some easy meal ideas to put on your meal plan for the week. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Give this video a thumbs up, and also make sure that you go check out Julia's channel. She is so sweet. I know you guys are going to love her, so I will have her link down below. But that is it for today's video. I will see you guys next time, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.